lovely iced coffee. I used to think, how could anybody drink iced coffee? Because I'm actually not a coffee lover. And then I had an iced coffee and I am so hooked. So this is actually just a sugar-free vanilla that I have in here because I am trying to do keto, and this is something you can have if you're on the keto diet. So, a delightful sip before I start. So we're going to take a look at some of my propagations and I'm going to plant them up. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get started. Hi guys, my name is Grania and this is my channel Jungle Flowers Canada. Thank you so much for joining me. I thought I would start with the most exciting one. I showed you, actually you saw me propagating this. This is the Hoya Coriaceae, and this was the leaf that I got from Paula, and then I propagated it, and look at the new leaf she has thrown out. Isn't this fantastic? It's so silver. I actually didn't even realize she had put out a silver leaf until I went there today to get it out of the cabinet so I could add the propagations to it, and she is putting out another new little leaf there on the top. So I am so excited. That is a success in my books. I have the cuttings that I took and they have also put out some new leaves. Not as variegated as this, but still beautiful. This is the new growth she put out from the cuttings. So I thought today we would combine them. I actually have a lot of plants I need to repot, but I'm almost out of my pon. I do have most of the ingredients to make new pon, but I need to buy the zeolite. The zeolite that is available at the moment is a huge, massive bag, and I want to get the 20 kilo bag. So I'm waiting because it is a winter product. As soon as I get that, I will make the new pon. I thought I had everything, and then I realized, oh shoot, I don't have the zeolite. Let's unpot this baby. Oh, also, by the way, guys, this sized pot is out of stock on Amazon. I did look into bringing it in from China, but I would have had to bring in, my gosh, 1,500 pieces or something like that. So I abandoned that idea. Let's unpot this baby and we will pot the two of them up together. This is such a beautiful plant. Let's see how her roots are doing since I got her. Oh wow, so she has beautiful roots. Can you see there? So I can't remember when Paula gave her to me, but she definitely gave her to me this year, and it was just a one leaf cutting. So it has really put out some beautiful roots. And let's check the roots on the propagation. Oops. Yeah, so the propagation also has, some very nice roots. Let's pop the two of these back in here together. And I'm excited for this to get big because I think it is absolutely stunning. Like all expensive Hoyas, it is coming down in price. I have noticed people are selling cuttings of it for a lot cheaper than it was, say, a year ago, which gives everybody an opportunity to grab one. I guess some people are of the mind if you buy it when it's expensive, then you can sell the cuttings and make your money back. And then eventually what happens is the market gets flooded and the price goes down. So it's kind of a win-win for a lot of people, unless you were one of the last to buy it for the expensive price and then couldn't sell it. But I think that seems to be the trend that's going on. There we have the Hoya Coriaceae with its new cutting. Oh, I'm so excited. I couldn't believe this leaf. Isn't that just phenomenal? Phenomenal. Okay, so let's pop this baby back in here. I was watching Kevin and Fern this morning actually, and I couldn't get motivated. I was just lying on the sofa. Then I said, okay, you know what? Get up and make a video because I'm running out of time. It's Wednesday now, I think. Don't even know the days of the week. I think it's Wednesday, so this has to go out for Friday. So I figured I better get my butt in gear. Okay, so next up we have the erythrina. I love this plant. She does sun stress beautifully if she has the right, environment. My grow lights, I think, have lost their efficacy in my cabinet. They used to sun stress all my plants, but now they actually don't. But that's okay. She's a little sun stressed. But they keep them alive, and you know what? That's good enough for me. Let me see how her roots are. They're coming into, her roots are just starting to come into the bottom of the pot. I've had this quite a long time actually. But I took a cutting of her, and this is the cutting. And let's have a look and see what kind of roots are on the cutting. Not huge, but enough to get her established. And let's pop these two together. So there's the mother plant. She has some beautiful big roots. I'll just empty some pollen out of here. Pop her. Oh, I pulled out the cord. Look, so let's go back in and put the wicking cord back in. This type of pot hangs on the side of my Fabricor cabinet. And I used to have a lot more hanging there, but eventually the hooks started to pull away and it caused some carnage. So I took most of them down, but this one, the hook that this is hanging on, seems to be pretty stable, so I haven't had any great issues with it. There is actually a second cutting in here that I have had probably for 3 years, and it really struggles. Do you see it? And I see here now it is like the roots are not great on it. They're still not great on it. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm actually going to cut all the roots off of this and just see will it re-root, because I think maybe it has root rot and that could be what the problem is. I'm saying I'll cut them off, but I don't have a scissors here, so I'm just going to pull them off. They came off very easily. It's been sitting in that pot, I'd say, for well over a year. It hasn't died, but it hasn't done anything. So let's maybe put it down even a little bit further. So she might root further up the stem, and see will that baby come back to life. I'm going to pop. Okay, so we're going to pop in the cutting. Let's get it under here like that. Pop in the cutting as well. Well, the cutting is putting out a new growth point too. And let's tap it back up. Oh, I know. Plopped that in there, didn't I? Now I do use my nutrient solution, but I will also add some Osmocote to this. My Osmocote is outside, but before I put it back in the cabinet, I'll add a little bit of Osmocote. But that looks actually much better. It's filled out. It was just kind of like, just looked like one strand for the longest time. So now hopefully it will fill out and become even more beautiful. Let's pop her back in here. Oops. And there we have the Hoya erythrina. Pretty girl. Here we have the Hoya balensis splash. I showed you a cutting of this on the shelf in my kitchen, the one that hangs from my ceiling, and it had a beautiful heart-shaped leaf, which is what it does eventually as it matures. But you can see that these are all pretty juvenile now. And I took some cuttings. Let me get it over here. I took some cuttings of her. And you can see she doesn't quite have that beautiful shape yet. Now this is not the splashiest Hoya balensis splash. You can see a little bit of variegation on the leaves, but you know, I wouldn't say it's the nicest specimen of this plant, but it's mine and I love it, as I do all my plants. So I just took some cuttings because I wanted to fill it out, and I actually have this in soil, and I think I'm going to transfer it into pon. Actually, I'll do that in a moment because I have to make sure I have enough pon to take care of this beautiful baby. Guys, can you believe it's my first Monstera albo? I have the thigh, but I've never had the albo. And my amazing friend Paula when she came to visit me the last time, brought me this plant, and this is a new leaf she put out since Paula brought her to me. So I want to put her into pon, and she has rooted. Like, the roots aren't huge, but I figure if I put her into pon, she will continue to root, and I'm going to put her into this pot. Now I know it probably looks like it's really large, but the inner pot is not that big, so I think it will be fine. I cannot find the indicators. See these indicators? I have a whole bag of them and I can't find them. So I will pop that in later. That will go down there and will let me know when I need to water the plant. I'm sorry, my coffee's calling out to me here. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm also always hot, part of growing old. So a nice cool drink always helps. I'm always in trouble for getting pon on the table. But anyway, that's another problem we'll deal with on another day. Here's the cutting. You can see she's not heavily rooted, but she has certainly started to root, so I think she is going to be fine in here. I'll just get some more pon and let's build her up. And I will keep this heavily watered for a while until she gets a bit more established. So I need to get that aerial root covered. So I think I will put her like so. Aerial root covered. I don't think I'm going to have enough pon to do the Balenza splash, unfortunately, unless I can go and retrieve pon from other places. Sometimes I have little pots of pon. Actually, I think I have another container of pon downstairs. I might be able to go grab that. Okay, so there we have finally my Hoya, I was going to say, my Monstera Deliciosa Albo. It's just stunning. I'm so excited to finally have one of these plants. So we will top her up with water in a while. I was just chatting away to you, unpotting this plant, and realised I hadn't hit record. So what I'm doing is I unpotted the Hoya Balenza Splash. She was in soil. They are the roots, and I have heard that you don't actually have to take off all the soil, so I didn't bother washing her, and I am popping her in here with the two cuttings that I rooted. So they too have nice roots on them, and I'm hoping that she will turn into a beautiful big plant. I'll just pop that in there, waste not, want not. I also found a container of pon in the basement, which is I have stuff everywhere in my house. It's terrible. Because we're empty nesters, we have a lot more space than we had when all the kids lived at home. And I use it all up for plants. There's plant stuff everywhere. Okay, so we're just going to fill this up with some nice new pon. I didn't realise I have quite a lot, so I'm really excited. I thought I was going to have to rush out and make some more. But I think I may have enough to get me through the winter, because I probably won't. Oh, I'm gone dark again. Can you see me? Okay, there we have the Hoya Balenza Splash, and I'm going to take this label off here because I forget the names of plants regularly. Oh, you know what, I do have one of those label machines. I'll just make a new label for it. Hoya Balenza Splash, replanted into pon. Hoping she'll do better. Now I wanted to take a cutting of my Polyneura out of variegation. Look what's happening here. I'm not getting much green on the plant at all. I'm thinking I'm going to cut her back to where she was last green, and then I'll propagate these. I won't waste them. I'll propagate these leaves back into this pot And then hopefully, have you seen Kevin's? Hopefully someday I'll have one like Kevin's. This was doing well and I managed to rot it, so I had to cut it back. I don't know what I did. I think we'll just start again with the Hoya Polyneura outer variegation. I'll come closer so you can see what I'm going to do. Now they're just, actually I'll come back here so they drop on the table. So we'll take the first cutting here above where the green leaf is. Okay, I've brought it back to when it was more stable. This is the cutting. And I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to take another cutting here. I don't really like taking cuttings this small, but I don't know how well this will sustain itself anyway because it's so white. So I'll just give it a shot and hopefully I'll end up with a nice full plant someday. Oh, here we go. We'll check in on these in a couple of weeks and hopefully we will have a bit of success. So just push it down there. I hope this works because I truly love this plant, and Kevin actually showed it this morning on his video and I was like so jealous. Hoya Polyneura outer variegation. That's a cutie, isn't it? Now, I just brought these in. I just cut these yesterday. I should have waited for today's video, but I wanted to show you. These are the Hoya Mint Coin. And I just think it's so beautiful. It was doing really well. It's hanging in my kitchen window. Hold on, we're going dark again. You know what, I think I'm going to turn off. Can I turn off these lights? Much better, isn't it? I should have done that first. Okay, Penny sees a dog. That's way better, guys. How stupid. I should have figured that one out sooner. I want to make it into a big plant and I just wanted to show it to you. I think it's so stunning. The only thing about when they're hanging in your window is that they, of course, face the window. So you don't get to see the true beauty of it. Now, oh, let me another little sip of my coffee. Even I can see in my blindness how much clearer this is. A plant I have struggled with for many years. I apologise, I can't remember the name of the lady that we did a trade. One of my viewers traded me some of this linearis. I can't remember what I traded with her. And she gave me 5 cuttings of it and I have struggled. I am down to 2. Can you see? But I really want, Penny, please, that's rude. I'd really love a big plant of this. So I'm going to try again. Propagating this plant does not work for me. I cannot for the life of me. Now I've had it in pon and I've ended up putting it back in soil and I seemed to have better luck with it in soil. No, but I think I'll propagate it in pon and then when I finally have decent roots, I'll pop it back into here. Then once I get a decent plant, I'll put it into a proper plant pot. This just sits on my kitchen window. My kitchen window is south facing, so it does get lovely light. And I'm so envious of people with big plants of this. I just don't know what it is with me and linearis. So let's take a few cuttings of it. So I'm going to put some pon in here and I'm going to try putting some cuttings into it. So fingers crossed I have better luck. Is there anyone else who doesn't have luck with linearis? Okay, so I just took this cutting here and I will make 3 cuttings. So hopefully some of them at least might survive. This did start off as tiny little cuttings like this and these 2 survived, but all the others died. So if the person that traded with me is watching this video, let me know because I'm very sorry, I can't remember your name. And I know that was a couple of years ago. Like, imagine, that was a couple of years ago and this is all I have. Don't ask me what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, if you're watching, let me know. and thank you. And hopefully you had better luck with my cuttings. I can't even remember what we traded. But I wanted to give you a little update. So my sincere apologies for the quality of my last video. It was terrible and I really wanted to redo like some of it. But I explained to you that I had an emergency and you won't believe what happened. So my daughter owns a wax and laser bar. Somebody broke into her salon, I guess you'd call it, the wax and laser bar. She has an alarm and a monitoring system, so she was notified immediately. And she was actually watching them steal her laser machine. These laser machines are worth over $100,000 and 3 of them have been stolen in our area in the last 3 weeks. Now the 3 machines that were stolen in the 3-week period were exactly the same machine, so they seem to be only targeting this machine at the moment. I'm sure they do target other machines, but right now they're targeting this machine. The way they handled it, they scoped the place out. They obviously sent somebody in for a laser consultation. They did whatever they did, they had it scoped. They were in and out in 3 minutes flat. So if anybody out there is watching this and you work for a company that does laser hair removal, or you have your own business and do laser hair removal, please be mindful and let the company owners know. I think that's all we're going to do today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you watched until the end, please don't forget to put the green heart emoji in the comments. And thank you so much for giving me time out of your busy day again. And I'll see you next week. You take care.